It was just past midnight when officers were called to a quiet suburban street. A house on Elmwood Drive had been found in unusual disarray. Among the first responders was Detective Sergeant Michael Reynolds, a veteran officer with nearly 20 years on the force. Known for his meticulous attention to detail, Reynolds had solved some of the department's most complex cases. On the surface, he was the embodiment of law enforcement integrity. But as the investigation began, there was an unspoken tension, not from crime itself, but from the man leading the search. What if the person searching for truth was hiding it? Inside, the living room was unervingly orderly for a scene that should have been chaotic. A vase on the mantel remained upright. No fingerprints scattered on the floor. No signs of struggle. Yet the air felt controlled, almost calculated. Reynolds moved with quiet precision, taking notes, cross-checking timelines, interviewing neighbors. To everyone watching, he was exactly the officer they hoped would bring answers. But someone observing might notice a flicker of hesitation when he glanced at the bedroom door, a moment that didn't belong in someone tasked with uncovering a crime. The victim was 29-year-old Emily Carter, a nurse known for her compassion and tireless work at the local hospital. Friends describe her as dependable, thoughtful, someone who always put others first. She lived alone, kept a routine, and had no known enemies. Yet in the weeks before her disappearance, subtle signs suggested something was off. Misplaced items, unanswered messages, neighbors recalling someone leaving her apartment late at night. Reynolds was assigned to the case immediately. Trusted implicitly by superiors, his reputation for methodical precision made him the ideal lead. From the outside, the case seemed straightforward: a missing person. Reynolds organized searches, interviewed friends, and built detailed timelines. But subtle inconsistencies soon appeared. Emily's routine had gaps Reynolds seemed unusually eager to explain. Calls she had made were summarized in ways that conveniently narrowed the window of her disappearance. No one suspected that the officer investigating the case might have a personal connection, an invisible thread linking him to the crime. The first phase of the investigation appeared standard. Officers canvassed the neighborhood. Security footage was collected. Witness statements compiled. Reynolds coordinated with forensic teams, documenting fingerprints, digital records, and call logs. He maintained a constant presence at the command center, reviewing reports and briefing superiors daily. On the surface, he seemed fully committed, yet some officers noticed a pattern. Reynolds occasionally asked to handle sensitive interviews alone, insisting he could gain better insight. Early suspects were questioned. Neighbors recalled a man lingering near the property. A co-worker mentioned Emily's stress. Every lead seemed to point outward, and yet evidence that could have complicated Reynolds' narrative was delayed or labeled inconclusive. Reports were summarized in ways that eliminated alternative theories. By the second week, subtle irregularities emerged. A forensic report was misplaced. A neighbor's statement describing a suspicious vehicle was filed under an unrelated case number. A critical security camera was out of service that night, a detail Reynolds emphasized, steering suspicion elsewhere. Officers noticed inconsistencies in his timeline. A 9/11 call's timestamp didn't match his notes. A colleague recalled him being near the apartment earlier than reported. Because of his reputation, no one openly challenged him. Reynolds had master control, guiding the investigation invisibly. Detective Laura Mills, a seasoned investigator, began noticing these patterns and quietly analyzed the data herself. Connections that seemed coincidental now looked deliberate. Reynolds had been present near the scene at critical moments. Social media interactions suggested an unusual familiarity with Emily's schedule. Background checks revealed a previously undisclosed link, a distant familial connection placing him in proximity to Emily more often than admitted. Gradually, the investigation pivoted inward. Officers re-examined evidence Reynolds had handled personally. Tiny inconsistencies that once seemed minor now hinted at manipulation. Forensic teams retested evidence. Digital data was recovered from devices thought wiped. Each discovery tightened the noose. Reynolds, once the guiding hand, was now under scrutiny. Mills observed a chilling pattern. Every attempt to uncover the truth about Emily's disappearance had been orchestrated by the very person meant to solve it. The breakthrough came when a partial digital footprint from Emily's phone placed Reynolds at the apartment hours before her disappearance, contradicting his statements. A neighbor recalled a uniformed figure entering under the pretext of a welfare check, matching the recovered data. Forensic reanalysis of the door handle revealed trace evidence. Skin cells matching Reynolds. His alibi collapsed. The officer trusted to uncover the truth had been manipulating the investigation from the outset, controlling interviews, redirecting suspicion, and erasing inconvenient evidence. The investigation had turned on its own lead detective. The badge meant to symbolize integrity had become an instrument of deception. Reynolds was suspended and arrested within days, based on forensic and digital evidence. During questioning, his carefully constructed alibi fell apart, revealing motives tied to a personal conflict with Emily, a conflict previously hidden. The trial exposed the depth of betrayal in the department. Reynolds was convicted. The case became a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked authority and the importance of internal oversight. Emily's family received closure, though the pain of betrayal by those sworn to protect remained. The department implemented new protocols, independent audits, stricter evidence tracking, and mandatory oversight when investigators had personal connections. In the end, the truth wasn't hidden from the investigation. It was leading it. Trust, authority, and the thin line between order and betrayal. This case proved the most dangerous secrets are often concealed behind the very badge meant to protect us.